Maybe,
Welcome.
perhaps.
Welcome to this environment. I know that we have some interesting things, and I've been thinking about it. I have the capability of, I want to look at tearing apart some electronics and stuff. I want to dabble more in low power RF communications.
So like LoRa and all that.
Yeah, because it'd be fun. And more or less doing things like making your own radar seekers, not for any nefarious reason,
Nay,
but
nay.
maybe like tying it into sort of like, I don't know, a thrust vectoring display just to show that it works. You know what I mean? I think that'd be pretty cool.
You should make your own radar range finding system.
You know, it's really easy. It's pretty easy. There's like
Then you
open source
strap that
software out
to like
there that
the strap it to the tip of a mortar or something, and boom, you have airburst munitions.
oh yeah, make some proxy rounds. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. I have a really strong desire also to go and make fireworks for festivities. You know, it's
Yeah.
nothing
Make fireworks, make
crazy.
radars, make rangefinder.
Yeah, I maybe some IR tracking, but that's just like so that way the second rockets can follow the first rockets to their target. I mean,
Just remember to
area
add the
of
roller on.
action. Yes, yep. Just so that, you know, they can fall into their area of action. I think, Nathan, I know that there has been some things in the flag, in the vexology thing. I know we're so behind. We are so dreadfully behind.
But it does mean we have plenty to pick on if we just
I know, and we need to get on it. I think
we will.
it was actually great having Joel on the last episode.
It was a lot of fun. It was
actually a really great episode, and we've gotten a lot of comments and likes. I say a lot, but comparative to most of our content on YouTube right now, it is a lot. Like 1 or 2 likes is a lot, according to the whole magazine.
No, it feels great.
And I think, you know, hey, the Reddit Flags and Review would be a really great thing to see live if people would be so inclined. That would be a lot of good fun. Where are we in terms of, I know we have some plans and stuff for some production stuff. One of the things that I actually wanted to do, it would be a daunting task and probably would take about 6 months. I would say 3 months of just even pre-production, and then over maybe a year of actual production. I wanted to do a really professional, really well put together documentary style creation on politics in the United States. Mostly centered around, if you guys didn't catch the last episode of the last episode on the whole magazine was the live. Very ominous. But if you guys didn't miss that, and of course that was super cut. Like that was super cut down. I was going on and on that episode. And I could have gone on deeper, but that was super cut down to about 30, 40 minutes, I think it was. There's a lot there that if it could provide, I think, an hour-long video if it was really sat down, really looking into things deeply, opening up the can of worms. And don't get me wrong, folks, like there's nasty politics on both sides. And if there's one thing that you probably maybe gathered from the whole magazine is, generally speaking, we don't like big government.
Well, I like effective government. I don't care what it's
effective government, small effective government, just doing the baseline things such as protecting my liberties and freedoms. But here's the thing: is I already can do that myself, kind of, with the thing called the Second Amendment. So it is kind of like, I don't know. What are you? I'm not an I'm not an anarchist by any means. I do think that law and order is pretty important for society, especially one as large as ours. We don't have the privilege of being so homogenous as other countries are, like Japan, Norway, Sweden, Finland.
Sweden is not nearly so homogenous anymore.
Yeah, that's changed.
Yeah, they are. In the past decade, the West is really teetering off the edge. UK, Germany.
I'd say the The only two European countries that come to mind when someone is saying something like homogenous is Poland and Finland.
Yeah,
Hungary.
Poland, dude. Oh yeah, Hungary.
Yeah.
Hungary actually recently their election um, showed that the vast majority. I don't want to say the vast majority. Let me calculate my words here. Hungary is based as fuck. Hungary is based as fuck. Poland based as fuck. You know what? Poland's immigration policy is, or their policy on illegal immigration.
Their policy is
None.
no.
There
If
is
they
none.
find you crossing the border illegally, they're not going to greet you and say hello. They're going to shoot you. What a policy. Why don't you share that image for the stream there, buddy? The combat sleeping system circa 1980.
It breathes very well.
Is that a
It breathes.
proper, that is a proper M16.
It
That's
is.
Yeah.
shoot, that's
You mind zooming in on that?
that's a sleeping bag with arms and legs in the olive green.
Go and share this for the stream here.
Do not.
I'm going to. It's too good not to share.
Where did you even
We're
find
gonna get a
that?
strike, brother.
Uh,
Did you miss it?
I did. I totally did. I totally did.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
You really missed that?
I did. Well, I didn't zoom in.
He's here to chew ass and kick gum, and he's all out of gum.
It's a classic picture.
Where did you find this
picture?
Yes.
Where did you pull this out of your ass?
No, I pulled it off of the weapons board.
Oh my god. What the shit that you find, Nathan?
Hey, it's not that bad. It's pretty good.
I mean, it's not. Compared to other things on the internet, it's pretty tame.
He's gonna traumatize the Viet Cong one way or another.
Don't turn this ambush into something worse.
Absolutely bonkers. Let me see. Let me do this. Do that. I have to readjust fire.
There's no readjusting after that. I have derailed.
No. I have to re-upload the thing for the Patreon. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a more direct warning.
Well, I didn't think you would look at it mid-show.
Well, I figured there would, in hindsight, why you were like, no, maybe not. I guess that would have been enough and all I needed.
I thought you had seen it. I thought you were just joking.
Oh no, I did not see it. That's hilarious. Let me go ahead and do
That's
that.
That's
hilarious.
I'll tell you what. Here we go. Here's something you can share with the stream.
Homogeneity.
Here's content.
Japan is doing some wild, crazy shit. I don't think it's wild. It is honestly par for the course as far as Japan is concerned. The whole issue of, I'll say, foreigners coming to the States or coming to Japan and not really abiding by their cultural norms, right? For example, in Japan, public transport, you are quiet, you're respectful, you don't play any music, you are there, you are quiet, you are in a tube with other people, and it's very respectful. You guys are commuting somewhere, going to another location, and that is it. There's no dance parties, there's nothing. Japan has been facing a bit of a problem with foreigners coming into their country and running amok. And they are so just direct with it. Their warning signs and stuff, their prohibition signs are some of the most direct I've ever seen in the world.
You've reminded me. I keep forgetting to send this to the chat.
The don't act like a monkey on the
absolutely crazy. Like, Japan, man. Like, I thought we nuked them twice into just being a bunch of crazy weebs, and then they surprise us with that kind of shit. It's crazy.
Out of pocket.
It's really out of pocket. It's just, whoa, dude. And again, this is the thing, is like, people don't understand. There's a streamer. So there's a streamer guy, a dude, bro. He's one of those awful people who kind of like go to other places and countries and effectively just
Jolly
have,
Somali.
I think so. You know him, right? He's going to prison
Not
in South
personally.
Korea. He's going to prison
Yeah.
in South Korea.
Unfortunately, the South Korean SF guy that socked him in the jaw, he's getting some time too, which is
Wow,
unfortunate.
look at that. Hey, there's equal application of the law here.
I guess. I don't know. He's a hero.
He is a hero, though. He is a hero. He's a martyr.
I don't think you should share this so we don't dox me too hard where I am currently. However, I sent a picture of one of the taxis where I'm at.
Oh, dear.
I can't read it.
I think it just says, please, no shoes on the seats.
Probably.
That is what the middle sentence is. I think
Well-
it has that in 3 different languages. Or
I think it
something.
has it in Icelandic,
Okay. But the thing
at
is,
least.
the picture is
Is a little forward.
they took
Well,
that
they're
down.
just
By the way.
trying
That's
to
no
be
longer in the taxi.
inclusive in their
Yeah, it's
advertisement.
inclusivity. It's inclusivity, folks. There is that gentleman, that guy. I'm not gonna call him a gentleman. He's not a gentleman. He's doing some
Retard.
fuck shit. He's allegedly being charged with sexually harassing minors by using translate apps to say absolutely obscene shit to minors in
I didn't
South
even catch.
Korea.
I never even heard him do that. That's crazy.
He has done some
Mm.
debaucherous shit at some monuments in South Korea.
Oh,
He is just not a good person.
I saw some videos from Decoy Voice. He was talking about that.
He did some shit in Israel, and he didn't die.
I don't
He
know.
was actually saved, I think, by the police. The police are the ones who saved him from the mob.
He was hitting on one of the IDF like cops or whatever.
The people almost tried killing him, from what I understand, and the police had to pull him out of there. Otherwise, he would have been curb stomped to death.
Dude, it's amazing how coddled he is.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering so he had the opportunity then to leave Israel and then go to another country and continue to be a degenerate, and it's actually impressive how he managed that. I was even I was talking to some coworkers about that. I was just stunned when he was listing off the things that this guy has allegedly done.
He did it on stream. You can't deny it.
Yeah, right. But for legal purposes,
I guess, man. What's he gonna do?
it's so dumb.
Harass us?
Yeah, I don't get it.
There's a reason he doesn't do that in America, by the way.
What do we have? I know talking about the Russian war is at this point kind of interesting. I think last time we were on the show, the news that had developed from the Ukraine thing, this was, I think we covered on the show, Trump and Zelensky's reaction. This was episode the no bullshit administration, the no BS administration for the younger audiences. By the way, if you're under 18 watching the show, congrats, you're growing up pretty good.
Go to bed.
Go to bed. So last time we checked, Ukraine, Zelensky specifically, was basically being told, hey, you need to be a little bit more, you're not going to use this platform in this time now to shill your BS and say things that are just outright untrue. The moment the war started, you guys got a outpouring of support. There was no delay in financial aid to you. Everyone in the entire Western Hemisphere started dumping money to you.
The only thing that got
US more than others.
The only thing that got delayed were the F-16s, and let's be honest, that was never going to be a war changer.
Yeah.
So that's all they can bitch about, in honest, but it's not that big a deal. The Russians are going to have local superiority, and that's just the end of it.
And the last thing that I did see from the development was a clip. This was obviously not on the show, but afterwards, the picture of Zelensky standing with a bunch of NATO officials, all smiling, or they were actually pretty much straight-faced, but Zelensky was smiling. And I've been telling people this when we've had discussions about it. And I actually have a caveat to another thing that we'll talk about in a second. There's going to be a point in which there's going to be a critical point in this war
Mm-hmm.
where Russia has zero motivation to stop.
Well, they already have that. There's no reason for them to stop. That's why that they're willing to not negotiate from like any position of weakness. Like they're willing to stand up and say, "Well, you're not meeting our demands, so we're not going to waste time and talk about it anymore." Because the last thing in Turkey, the way it went down was like, of course, Zelensky was big upset that Putin didn't show up in person to finalize and hammer out a deal because like obviously that's not how that works.
Zelensky's such a petulant child.
Like, he is, but like here's the thing, right? The way this works is if Zelensky and Trump are going to come to an arrangement, they don't just get on the phone together and hammer it out. They let their not their constituents. They let their staff do it, and the staff figure out the nitty gritty bullshit, and then they let those two look it over and finalize it together. Usually it's just ceremony at that point.
Right.
But sometimes it really is real diplomacy, where there's like just the last couple inches to go, and you need like the power of your presence and your personality to make the sale.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when the Kremlin says that, they're not wrong, right? But the bigger point here is that Zelensky is upset because he figures if he has all of Europe and America on one side of the table against Putin, he can. Again, this is very womanly thinking, but it appears that he wants to use social pressure and social proof to get some kind of concession in which the Russians have no obligation to fulfill because they're winning. They're moving west. It doesn't matter how much blood it takes. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, haven't they even pushed the Ukrainian advance out of Russia?
Yeah, Kursk is totally over. That was like almost a month ago to the day.
I did see plenty of footage of Ukrainian drone strikes in Russian territory.
Yeah, that's normal at this point.
Yeah, it's
really the only like good news that they can get is like sabotage teams or FPV drones hitting something in Russia. But it's not strategic. The most strategic, important thing they've done doing that sabotage campaign is hitting like oil refineries.
Yeah.
But to what end and for how much? It's not going to do a whole lot.
We're going to dip into some Basil Hayden, folks, members of the board. Are we going to do 1792 or are we going to do Basil Hayden?
I know what
I have never tried either of those.
I will. Which one?
I said I know what Basil Haven tastes like.
So choose one.
That's what I said.
You said Basil Hayden. Okay.
Whiskey.
So okay. Now this you should share with the show. This photograph taken at the press event out in Turkey. I want you to read this as you show it to the audience.
I say shelf. It's a filing cabinet.
Now, before you read this, I want you to consider
emphasize his short stature.
Okay, so let me go and pull that up here. And
I want you to consider, however, if Trump had published this about himself and not Zelensky's team about Zelensky.
Okay. So, it says requirements for
photographing.
Requirements for photographing events involving Vladimir Zelensky. Istanbul, 15th of May. Let's see. Please adhere to the following requirements when taking photographs. Permissible angles. The primary shooting angle should be at eye level or slightly above, waist up or higher. Prohibited angles and situations. Shooting from a low angle emphasizes short stature. Wide angle distortions, making body proportions appear unnatural. Comparative shots, photographing a politician next to taller people without prior approval is not allowed. Composition requirements. Do not draw attention to shoes or other details that may highlight height. For group photos, the politician's position must be approved in advance. Shots that could be used for memes or derogatory publications are not permitted.
This is retarded.
This is
like...
This is obviously a politician who is really concerned about his nation and getting things done and is not really focused on appearances at all.
This
is hilarious.
It is extreme vanity.
Yeah.
It's.
Could you imagine if the Trump team had said
my
that
God, they
press
would engrave this if
and
the
do the
left got
opposite.
their way.
And do the exact opposite.
They would engrave this on his tombstone.
Yeah.
Okay? They would never let him live it down.
He's so petty. He's so childish. He's so insecure.
He's so this, he's so that. But Zelensky's
He's
like,
so
oh, well, they would literally say, well, actually, so like short kings are like really important. And like, that's just what Zelensky is. He's just a short king. And we all need to respect him. And he's actually just like kind of like a hero. And this is hilarious.
You do a surprisingly good gay accent.
Surprising. This is hilarious. This is
It's amazing.
hearing. Oh no. This is actually great. Do we have verification on this? Is this like verified as real?
I can't say it is, but
because like
it's true in my heart.
Again, this is just disclaimer. There's no verification. This is real. This is very clearly just somebody.
This is Nate's headcanon.
This is okay. We have to give this disclaimer because I appreciate talking about things transparently. This is obviously somebody, so let's just pull it back up. Let's pull it back up for the class to see. Just so we're aware. So this is obviously the eye is drawn to this man's well-manicured thumbnails.
Definitely a homosexual.
It's just a printout.
Clip nails.
But then again, we look out and I see a whole lot of tripods.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
So here's the question. If we were to recreate this photograph as a staged photograph, it wouldn't be too difficult.
It wouldn't be too difficult.
We'd only need 3 tripods, 4 friends, and maybe a camera bag. We could do it. It is easy.
It is entirely possible.
Print out that document.
To have at least maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11, maybe a dozen people involved in this. This is something, let's be clear, this is something well within the capabilities of any sort of adversarial nation to
the whole magazine itself.
The whole magazine, I could convince my coworkers to go recreate this.
We could do this for like less than $1,000.
Yeah.
Too easy.
So that goes without saying. Okay, so verification of this. However, there is an interesting detail. Istanbul, 15th of May, 2025. Was he, I'm imagining if any meme creator or fraudster is worth their salt, they're going to choose a date where he actually was in said Istanbul at that time and there was an event and a press conference, etc.
Sure, I would.
That would be homework that you would have to do in preparation for something.
I'm currently making, I'm actually penning a...
He looks so good in that style hat.
It really.
He looks so good.
I wish I had the confidence to wear it all the time.
I can't pull those hats off, and it pisses me off.
It's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like
hair for me.
I feel like
I can't. It's my hair. I can't wear hats anymore.
I may have to show this to you. It's not complete yet, but let's see. Resume.
Is it a Stetson?
No, I bought this at 7-Up.
It's a nice looking hat, though.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Honestly, Nate, it really does look like it belongs on your head.
Yeah.
Thank you. I actually had some people say, I couldn't tell if they were being sarcastic, but maybe they were being honest. A while ago at a restaurant, they complimented the hat. I was like, okay.
Was it a woman?
It was a woman, and she was with some guy at the bar.
I don't think it was facetious. I don't think it was ironic.
I have to share this with you. This will be
while you prep that. Basil Hayden, folks, not sponsored in any way. We're not. Basil Hayden, really good, extremely good whiskey. Let me go ahead and pop this into a appropriate glass here for a moment. We did try this on our show ages ago, and It was actually, from what I remember, one of the group's more favored whiskeys.
What kind of whiskey is it?
This is a bourbon. Yes.
Kentucky
This
bourbon
is
or
Kentucky straight bourbon. It's actually James Beam. But this is a little bit more, it's not your standard James Beam. It's a bit more, I don't like James Beam. I don't like Jim Beam. I don't like any of those things. I think they're shit. I don't like Maker's Mark. I don't like Jim Beam. None of those things. This, however, super light. It reminds me of Gentleman Jack, if you've ever had Gentleman Jack. Gentleman Jack's very nice. Extremely smooth. I understand people say this, okay? They say, oh my God. When they do this whole thing, oh my God, it's so...
oh dear heavens.
It's so smooth. It's just, oh my God, so refined. Can you... oh my God, yes. The brewmaster's uncle was present. Oh, he was giving him a show. Oh my God. No, it is actually smooth. And here's this, folks. I understand that whiskey... hey, tangent, while Nathan gets things ready. People give whiskey enjoyers kind of a bad rap where they say that it actually doesn't taste good. It's all shit. And it's just, they just like it because they get to feel pretentious, blah, blah, blah. Here's this, folks. You know who says that? People who don't like whiskey. Because they need to, I don't know, feel something about themselves that they are not strong enough. They're not strong enough to handle the robust and intense flavors that whiskey provides. That's the problem. Whiskey does have a lot of contrasting flavors. Whiskeys in general actually have quite varying tastes. There is a difference. Bourbons will taste different from, say, scotches. But that's very, obvious. It's like, yeah, no shit. They're different styles of whiskey. Of course they're going to taste different, Brandon. Why the fuck are you... Yeah, the sky's blue, the grass is green. But it's still a thing. Again, it is smooth. It is fun. I would sip this. This is why it's on the shelf in my office. It's one of my sipping whiskeys. It's one of my weekly pours. My weekend pours, right, are my Tyrconnell, my Glenfiddich, my Glenmorangie. And by the way, turns out you can get almost a gallon of Glenmorangie whenever you want. It shouldn't be legal, but you can. You can get almost a gallon of Glenmorangie. Shall I show you? I'll show you.
I would like to see a gallon of whiskey.
I haven't seen this before. Or at least if you've shown me, I don't remember this. Oh, that's like a bartender size.
It is obscenely large. This is fucking hell. It's bigger than my head, I can tell you that. Where the 1.7, it's almost 2 liters. It's almost 2 liters.
A liter is a quart. That's half a gallon.
It's almost 2 liters.
It's like a double meter pounder.
A double meter pounder?
Yeah, because we're using metric now for some fucking reason.
That's, hey, just blame the United States for being secretly metric.
We're not.
Yeah, we are.
Everyone else is secretly imperial.
You saw how I converted that into quarts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why did you convert?
I don't want to use quarters either.
What is the actual... You know how measurement systems have standards, units of standard?
Uh-huh.
What's the unit standard for a pound?
Pound is 16 ounces.
Like a single note?
What is the unit standard for an ounce?
I don't remember.
An ounce?
The answer is they don't have one.
Okay.
Do you know what does have
I don't know why you're mad
standard?
I don't know why you're mad about this.
The kilogram.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, it's so many atoms of silicon.
Yeah, how about you tell me how much stuff is in an ounce? How much stuff is in there?
A lot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you can tell me how many things there are?
Well, see,
it doesn't matter as long as it's what you know.
I would actually convert to metric, so then I can actually do the proper stoichiometry.
Okay, yeah, but I'm talking about its essence. Like, you can tell me how much stuff is in. Are we?
I'm talking about the essence.
Yeah, like fair, how much stuff is there?
Unless you're doing like some serious high-speed science shit, it does not matter.
Agreed.
No,
it doesn't matter.
I'm talking about like the philosophical ramifications.
What are the philosophical
ramifications? The United States loses its national identity.
It loses its soul.
It loses its soul. And
Man,
I sent it to you, by
the
the way.
United
He's only
States
been
is going
very
to
good.
hell if it switches to metric.
It's already in hell because we're thinking about it.
Oh, I
No,
have to
the only
download this
parts that are
document?
Yeah.
in
It's just a
like
PDF. It's 3
Detroit and
pages.
Chicago,
So full disclosure,
LA as well.
I'm making this in an effort to send to my buddy to send to his school's newspaper out in LA where he's going to college. And so
Poor guy.
I'm doing he's going to send it in, like a buddy of his in the industry leaked this. We're going to see if we can get anyone to like follow it, like actually talk about it like it's real. Like if it goes on not Joe Rogan, but what's that Sean Ryan? If it shows up on the Sean Ryan show, I'm going to be very proud of myself. So I'm not done yet, but
So let me go ahead and read it.
yes.
So this is formatted as if you were to print out an email, at least the first page.
Yep.
It says, subject, follow up on RFI response, forwarding for your review. Juniper. Okay. Per our earlier discussions and in line with the ongoing coordination between our offices, I'm forwarding the attached memo from the Space Force regarding the RFI we submitted. The response aligns with our expectations and provides the necessary framework to proceed with the next steps. Given the historical precedents and the systems in place since the SDI program, the memo's affirmative tone suggests that the necessary capabilities are within reach. This should allow us to proceed with proposed demonstration, which, as you know, would serve as a proof of concept for broader applications. Let's discuss further during our secure briefing. I'll ensure the relevant documentation is prepared for the cabinet review, keeping in mind the sensitivities we've previously outlined. Best regards, Robert Caldwell, Department of Energy, Office of Defense Programs. Attachment, Space Force Memo, RFI response. Note, this email and its attachments are intended solely for the use of the Memorandum for C distribution. Purpose. This memorandum provides a response to the request for information from the Department of Energy, Office of Defense Program, dated insert date, regarding the potential development and application of infrared high-powered space lasers, including clarification on their potential use within or below the atmosphere. The response is provided by the 4th Electromagnetic Warfare Squadron.
It's a real thing. These are real places.
Mission Delta 3, Mission Delta 2, and the Space Rapid Capabilities Office. Background: the RFI seeks information on the feasibility, development, and potential applications of infrared high-power space lasers, with specific interest in their utility within or below the atmosphere. The response acknowledges the inquiry and provides a high-level overview of relevant consideration. Response: feasibility and development. The development of infrared high-power space lasers is within the realm of current technological capabilities. Collaborative efforts across the Department of the Air Force, including SPROCO, are ongoing to explore advanced directed energy weapons or energy systems, atmospheric applications, infrared high power. So you are trying to scale. You're making a
No, keep going. No, keep going. You're gonna see where I'm leading people. You're gonna see where I'm leading them.
Here we go. Let's see. Strategic goal, investment priorities, operationalization of cross-domain synergies, activities necessary to ensure the seamless integration of multi-domain operational frameworks, leveraging next-generation capabilities to optimize mission. Wow, that made it worse. Assurance and operational resilience, capacity and agility enhancements, activities which primarily aim to increase schedule capacity through the utilization of scalable, modular, and interoperable systems, ensuring rapid response to dynamic mission requirements, business process improvements, activities which primarily aim to establish new business models in furtherance of the future spaceport vision or increase operational efficiency through the implementation of
You can just skip to the conclusion. Just go down to the bottom.
Conclusion: the 4th Electromagnetic Warfare Squadron, Mission Delta 3, Mission Delta 2, and the Space Rapid Capabilities Office affirm the potential of infrared high-power space lasers and their applications within or below the atmosphere. Further details and coordination will be conducted through appropriate classification and integrity channels.
You like the sticky note
So, like,
down there?
yes.
That's
The
given
Star
us our
Wars
new topic.
program.
I think I
So
had mentioned this ages ago. Go ahead, continue what you were saying.
So I'm still not done with it. I'm still crafting its myth, but I'm trying to lead people to rethinking about the Honolulu fires or whatever,
Mm,
and then the fires in California. That's where I want this to go. So
there
it's like,
was.
because remember, the Space Force is a Trump created force. There's still a bunch of contentious fights about where to place Space Command, and then there's also like, plenty of reasons, like, they're gonna be like, oh, Trump caused the fires,
Right. There is.
Yes,
There was a
celebrities
clip.
painted their houses blue.
Yes, there was a clip of Joe Biden saying that recently. Let me pull that up.
Really,
Show
about
it
the
to you.
fires?
Yeah, dude.
No way.
Yeah, hang on. It could very well could be AI, dude. AI is getting fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's getting too good. There's no way to. The good news
I
is
think,
this stuff will be unusable in court.
yeah, I think the people in Warhammer and like 95% of sci-fis were correct. We should just kill all AI
We're gonna wish we did.
eventually. Yeah.
Let's see. Joe Biden talking about Hawaii. I really doubt it's gonna come up here. Ooh, it's gonna be super difficult to find. I'm not gonna find that shit on YouTube, that's for sure. I think I saw it on TikTok or Instagram. Also, hey, here's a thing. Joe Biden also has looked drastically different.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to compile something about that. But let's look at AI or real video.
Oh, dude, they totally scrubbed it from the internet.
What, that clip?
Yeah, PolitiFact has had a link to it, but it's scrubbed now.
Damn.
Man, government.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe on YouTube. Hold on.
You found it?
Oh, it's 23 minutes long.
If that's the case, that's gonna be just some speech.
No, it's from a speech though. That's the thing.
Well, no, the video I saw was very much like the mic should have been off and a camera was present while he was talking to somebody.
So it didn't look like this screenshot right here.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. Yeah. See if we can't find some. Can you find a good AI video thing compilation? Is it real or is it AI?
You know what?
While I ramble about AI. So here's what I've noticed in the political sphere. I don't know where. I think if I were to place the whole magazine as an organization on the political spectrum, if we were to balance out everyone's viewpoint, we would be probably left of center right, if that makes sense. Maybe just a quarter to the right. There's on the show, we've had such a broad spectrum of political viewpoint. Like we've had Oscar on the show, who is by far probably the most. He's definitely more liberal than everyone else on the show, more left leaning than everyone on the show. We've had, of course, Mr. Ford on the show, who was part of an episode which was, I think, 3 hours long, where we just ran the whole list of current issues and stuff like that. And that was a great, great time. And I see on both sides, on the left and right, there are different takes on this whole AI thing. And of course, this is me speaking from what I'm seeing. This could be not entirely true if you were to take the summation of both sides. The left, I don't hear too much about. They're not really talking about AI. The left talks about AI in that it's going to take away artists' jobs and it's going to take away the ability for creatives to do what they do and all this other kind of stuff, which might have some merit. Like, instead of people, say, going to Fiverr to solicit the services of a artist to create some sort of image or whatever the hell, some art for whatever project, they're just going to go to ChatGPT and do that. However, my other side to that coin is AI can also be a super powerful tool to artists, especially those who do it for a profession, in that you can let it inspire you, get ideas. If I were, say, an artist or something other, because right now, of course, this will change. AI is not going to be terribly good at this for a little bit, and it's getting really good really fast. Words still end up pretty shit and wonky at times in the context of arts and graphics, right? A artist who does this as a profession could submit, say, a selection of images generated by AI and say, so which one are you more looking for? Thus providing the artist more direction to go in with their art design. Also, there's going to be a point in time where artists, there's going to be a license for every single bit of AI technology, and specific businesses like graphical design businesses are going to have people dedicated, and they're going to have those licenses, and people will go into them like Fiverr and be like, hey, give me XYZ image. And they get to utilize that technology to either, hey, A, make it for them, B, help them make it, design assets for it, like, oh, hey, AI, give me a tree so I can then snip this into my image. Shit like that. Of course, this is all fucking new. There's no legislation on this, really. It's all super new. So who knows how it's going to be handled ultimately. And then the right. My take on AI is that the left also says, but now we're not going to believe everything we see. We're going to have to question everything that we see on the internet. To my response goes, you don't do that already?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You should be doing that by default. That's the problem. That's the problem. Is the left utilizes the internet, utilizes social media, videos, TikToks, you name it, the small soundbite format content, and that's their news source. And with AI, with deep fakes and stuff like that, their concern is we won't know what to believe. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to do your homework now. I'm sorry. This is good. This is great, actually. It's going to actually have to force you to look into things, to actually formulate your opinions if you give a crap to. So it's not a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing at all. In fact, if the left is so concerned that we won't know what to believe, fantastic. More people are probably going to start voting conservative if they start looking into things. Nathan did, in fact, find us a video, which we're going to pull up. Thank you, Nathan.
Yep.
This is by a creator called Pay It Forward. Let me know.
I would just skip straight to the comparisons.
Yeah, let me go. Just want to give proper credit where credit's due. Let's see. Let me know.
Look at that fucking face.
It's very, very brooding. Let's go and do that. And full screen. And here we go.
First video, Amalfi Coast. Which one's real? Which one's AI?
On the one on the right, fake.
Yeah, the one on the right's definitely fake. The walking is definitely fucked.
Which one's
Not
AI?
that a boomer could tell, but
You said the video on the right was
Okay.
AI? That's correct.
good shit.
How can you tell? The water looks really weird.
Yeah, water is the waves
Next
are also
up, we've
moving
got an
away
art
from
gallery.
the shore.
We're
Left.
kind of flying through it here.
The left is too smooth.
Which is real? Which is AI?
I think the
You
left.
said right for the art gallery.
I already lost.
They're
I've already
similar,
failed.
but they're off. But then they're also somehow lighting up the artwork. I don't know how that works. Next up, a nice drone view of Big Sur. Can you spot the AI?
The right.
I guess
If
so.
you said the left image was generated by AI, you would be correct.
Oh, shit.
How can you tell?
The
These
waves
textures in the
crashing
background.
against
It's
the
like
rocks
Microsoft
there.
Flight Simulator 2000.
Damn. I was looking on the
Next,
waves to the right. I thought that looked weird.
Borneo wildlife.
That was the left.
Can you tell which video is real, which one's AI? And to be fair, I think this is one of the easier
hang
ones.
on.
If you said the video on the
Okay.
left was
Okay.
generated,
Oh, look, it's
it
working.
Causes
would be
you to
correct.
second guess.
Take a look at the bird. There seems to be a lot of detail lacking. Looks kind of like a 3D render. Next up, 2 videos of cars shot by drones.
Well, it's gotta be
real,
the right.
which is
I've
AI.
seen this. I've seen this tech demo before.
Make and model is that?
It's a Hummer.
That's
You
a
said
ton
the video
over.
on the right was AI, you would be
Hold on.
correct.
Hold
One
on.
of the telltale signs, AI doesn't do text all that well yet. This apparently is a Danover car, which Zach told me is based on a Land Rover
hold
car.
on.
So
though.
Land Rover
Like,
became Dan.
let's also acknowledge the fact that we went from like Will Smith morphing like a rat
doing
with
that crazy shit, turning into a can of SpaghettiOs,
into
eating
a
it
car
in less than a
pretty
year.
coherently driving.
Yeah. By the way, you could tell the dust looks a little weird if you go back to the footage. Keep going. The dust is a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
By drones.
It's a little too clean.
It
Which
is
is
coming
AI.
out of where the body of the car would be.
It looks like a fluid.
It just like, let's be clear, like we went from that in the short span of like a couple years to
It's already too confusing.
a coherent video of a truck SUV.
If you're gonna go hold up a liquor store, make sure you get one of those like prosthetic like sixth finger like on top of your middle finger. So that way when you grab the cash on camera, you can say in court, no, that's generated by AI.
That's generated by AI, yeah.
Next, we've got cats with people, which is real.
Right. It's right. It's got to be the
AI.
The soulless eyes on the human.
If you said the video on the left was generated by AI, you are correct.
Fuck.
Take a look at her.
She was actually just.
AI doesn't do facial features.
That's so bad.
It has another claw. It has another claw.
All this time yet. Also, the cat seems to be growing an additional paw somewhere in the middle of the video. That's it.
Okay. I was so focused on the
Next, we've got
discerning
dogs
woman,
in snow,
the
which
disconcerting
is
woman.
real.
The left.
AI.
Yeah,
The left
left,
is fake.
definitely.
Look how fluffy
If
that
you
snow
said the
is.
video
It's
on the
so
left
cute,
was
though.
generated by AI, you are correct. Take a look at the snow here. It seems that there's something wrong with gravity in this scenario. The snow kind of appears,
Puppies in zero
disappears,
gravity.
floats up when it should float down. Just the physics of it.
It's just
don't
super
feel
fluffy snow.
completely accurate.
Also, just the weird movement of it
Next up,
gave it away.
Lunar New Year. Can you spot the AI?
Shit.
Dude, this one's hard.
You said the video
I
on the
couldn't
right
tell.
was generated by AI. You are correct.
Oh,
When it comes to
man.
little details or little faces in the background of videos, AI doesn't do all that well yet. Some people end up with blurs or severe problems.
But that's still like
Next up,
crazy.
a close-up of a human eye. Which is real?
The right.
Which is AI?
Yeah.
The fake's
This
on the
one's
right.
really good.
Yeah, the right. The right.
If you said the eye on the right was
Okay.
generated by AI,
It's
you're
very
correct.
good though.
Also, props to you because this
I
is
think-
one that I probably couldn't tell apart at first or even second glance because it's so good. When you give AI one thing to focus on and not a lot going on in the
No,
background,
I mean,
it
that's
does
not
do
entirely
a
true.
pretty good
I would
job.
say that
Scary good in this case.
with such detail like that, like movement and stuff like that, that's such a very like intuitive thing.
Yeah.
Like we're designed and we're social creatures. So I think when AI gets to the point where those would be completely indiscernible, that's when we're fucked.
Yeah,
We're almost
the
there.
lighting and the movement on the left one though just seemed too
Something a little
Next
off.
up, a
imperfect.
close-up of a man, which is real.
You know what I
which is
mean.
AI generated.
The left.
The right. The right.
The right?
If you said the video of the man on the right was generated by AI, you are correct. One of the ways that you
Wow.
can tell this is AI
All
is
right.
that there is a lack of detail in the skin. It seems a little bit smoothed out, but a lot of times
No.
that happens in post.
No, it
anyway.
doesn't.
This is really a good fake. If I'm going to point out anything, I think I'd look at his ear. It looks a little weird.
Yeah, but some people
made
have
some-
just weird
Next,
Give me
ears.
the color.
Scrutiny, which is
I mean,
real and which
realistically
is
speaking,
AI.
like
I think I've seen the one on the left. That one I think I've seen is fake.
If you said the video on the left was generated by AI, you are correct. There are a couple of problems here. In one case, the stairs seem to go
Yes, I love
into
the
nowhere,
stairs
which is
going
a safety
up.
issue, people. And in another case, the building kind of blurs into the background.
I mean, I
kind
don't
of
know
a
what
giveaway,
he
but
was
at
talking about
first
the last
glance,
one, but
it
the
looks
last
really
one
good.
still had skin texture. I'm not sure what
Next
he was
up,
talking about.
3D animation. Which is real? Which is AI?
I mean,
The one
this
on the
is
left, the middle,
kind of
or the
dumb.
one on the right?
I mean, the middle one looks really cursed.
Answer, they're all generated by AI. AI is doing a scary good job
This is kind of
at this kind of animated
hey,
3D
I'm not going to be mean,
video.
but this is kind of dumb.
Pixar, watch out. I'm pretty sure that they're already moving in this direction because, I mean,
When you
it's
can
pretty
dismiss
ridiculous.
complete realism,
I mean, it's going to be
AI
a whole
is gonna
new
be
world
super
in 10
good at
years.
it.
People are going to be making their own movies, animated movies at home. Here are the telltale signs that a video is AI generated. Especially as we go into an election year, it's important to remember that things can be faked. Number one, repeated motion or patterns. The water looks like it's out of a Super Nintendo game. Number two, lighting and shadows. And here the lights are off, but it's all lit up in the museum. Number three, background inconsistencies. Oops, we're in a flight simulator or a video game from the year 2000. Let's fix the textures, people. Number four, facial anomalies. All I can say is,
I mean, the cat
yikes.
looks great, except
Number
for the
five,
hand.
The extra paw.
the skin might lack detail or show inconsistencies, rendering natural imperfections. This guy would have more imperfections.
What are you
or
fucking
he has a
talking
truly
about?
excellent skincare
You're so
regimen.
mad about
Number
this
six,
one.
Like, what are you
edge
talking
artifacts.
about?
This is the blur in Santorini.
There was so
where the
much
building
texture
is
on that
blurring
guy's face.
into the landscape.
Yeah, and sure, the ears look a little weird, but
Like the face, like everything looked fine on that man. Like the facial, the texture. It's like, yeah, you mean all the texture that the computer put on there? Goodness gracious.
I don't understand what he was talking about with the ear, though. People are not perfect. We're not all the same thing. So you're going to have people with somewhat weird looking ears.
You know what'd be a real test is if you were to put, you would have to find the real image amongst a selection of 3 other fakes of AIs, right? If you could find the real one in the selection of AIs, it'd probably be a better test. Maybe it would. Maybe it wouldn't. What are your thoughts on, like, I don't think people, like, I am plagued. My Instagram algorithm is showing me fat people, like,
That's because you like
clinically-
cringe and you constantly
That's
reward
true.
the machine
That's true.
god
I do.
with your view.
My brain
I
rot.
ignore that shit and I unfollow that shit and I report that shit.
My brain rot is, in fact, cringe. So
You should have 2 accounts. You should have an account for hurting yourself and one for like being a normal person.
Hurt yourself, it's bad for your health.
it is fun, though. It is fun to watch the cringe.
No, it's not.
TikTok hits me with the flat earther stuff.
Based, very red pill.
TikTok hits me with the flat earther stuff, and that was my segue into our next
Show
topic.
me the truth. Show me the truth, brother. Do you believe? You believe now, don't you?
So I have a coworker. I had a coworker. She is since she was my previous manager, and I love her to death, and she's extremely great. Previous Marine, she's awesome. Honestly, like, if I'm being entirely real, and this isn't because she's not watching the show, one of my best managers / supervisors across my life, Army included, like, just one of the greats. Genuine, caring, thoughtful, actual support when you need it. Stunning. Like, she should be, if every manager emulated her, no business would have issues with retention. None. I don't know if she's joking that she's like a moon landing denier or like, yeah. I don't know. She plays it so well. I do not know.
That's powerful.
And I know, Nathan, you enjoy the flat earther crowd because they're very much just like anti-establishment, basically, like, fuck you, science.
And remember,
fuck you, scientists.
I'll say it over again. I'm only tactically aligned with flat earthers. I don't actually believe it, but I hate the people that like think that they're dunking on this thing and they're so mean-spirited and they're so cringe when they do it. I hate those people. I hate the people that like make a career on YouTube out of picking essentially the low-hanging fruit of cosmology. Like, wow, congrats, baby's first debunking. Like, I don't condone it. I'm not here for it. I am always happy when I see flat earthers confuse and confound like science enjoyers on a live debate. That shit is always funny to me.
Let me see if I can't find some things.
It's almost
I
the same
had-
thing as like it's always funny when like Ben Shapiro like fucks somebody up in like a debate. Like you lost a debate to Ben Shapiro of all people. Like the man is full of character flaws, stupid ideas, and hypocrisy, and you couldn't find any of that.
Okay,
You
so
definitely deserve to lose.
I have 20 videos talking about how the moon landing was fake. Let me just show you in case you think I'm fucking joking.
I'm ready to see it, brother. I got to see the truth, dude. I love these thumbnails. These thumbnails are zoom in on these thumbnails. Zoom the fuck in on these thumbnails. Oh, that's so good.
They're pretty well made. Let's see. Yeah. So we're going to start with this one. Oh, shit. Hang on. Wrong.
Are they 30 minutes long each?
No, they're like soundbite from
15.
TikTok or Instagram.
Another glaring mistake is that none of NASA's images or videos show stars in the background as they should. Just complete blackness, likely because exact star maps, as they should appear from the moon, would be nearly impossible to fake accurately. The testimony of different astronauts on different missions in their autobiographies and interviews just muddies the waters even more. Some of them bragging about the, quote, astonishingly brilliant light of the stars, and others saying that they, quote, don't remember seeing a single star while on the moon. Such inconsistent testimony, and the fact that none of NASA's moon pictures feature any stars anywhere in their appropriate positions,
Linktree,
is
the
yet
government
very
wouldn't
strong
do that.
evidence of studio fakery.
Okay.
That's
so,
powerful.
first thing, why no stars in background? Why no stars in background?
Let's call it the problem with cameras.
Yes,
Like
exactly. You and I are both
overexposure.
amateur photographers.
Yeah.
The camera is going to adapt to its subject. So, obviously, when faced with direct sunlight, such as the astronaut, the flag, or the terrain, the camera is going to adjust its exposure to make sure that all that is captured appropriately. What's going to be objectively dimmer than, say, this upper image here is going to be the stars. That is going to be significantly dimmer than the sun and the foreground and the subject. That is why the images look like this. That's why. This image is coming from somebody who, one, either doesn't understand photography, or B, is clinically retarded. It could be both. I'll give them the benefit of that. It's actually a great point. It is a great question. It's like, okay, well, if there's no atmosphere and if it's in space, why don't we see the stars? I'm being facetious. I'm being hyperbolic when I say that it's retarded. It's actually a great question. Because if you don't understand photography and you don't understand how cameras work, it's going to be easy to think like this. And what's more critical is I have not heard of any testimony or anything like that of, and it actually very well could be true, of some astronauts seeing stars and some of them not. Why is that? Well, first off, the actual helmet of the Apollo missions they were like the uber fucking like sunglasses. Like they were extremely protective against the effectively direct sunlight. We have the benefit of on Earth having an atmosphere to, one, reduce the strength of the sunlight and diffuse it, right? We have diffusion, we have ambient occlusion and all that kind of stuff to sort of diffuse the light. This is just straight up sun raw dogging your eyes. And so this is true not only on the Apollo missions, but also on modern spacewalks. The amount of light that penetrates that actual helmet is minuscule compared to the amount of light that's actually bombarding the astronaut and the environment around him
Well,
or
the thing
her.
is, the eye will see more than the camera will, even today.
Exactly.
So again, the camera's seeing less than the air.
Exactly. The eye, one, has likely, especially for the technology at the time, has a much significant higher or much more significant dynamic range than the camera does. And so, sure, and everyone's eyes are different. So, sure, some astronauts are probably going to be able to pick up on lights or, say, stars while on the surface of the moon. Also, he also could be conflating the stories and details of the astronauts while they were in the capsule, while they were on, say, the quote unquote dark side of the capsule looking out into space. That is also what could be likely happening. And he leaves it to be vague on purpose. So that's one, 20 of them. Dude, I've had these for years. I've had this for like over when we started the show. I've had this for like at least a year or two. Wait, can I see when I save these?
Yeah, you can go to File Properties.
2023, August 2nd, 2023. I've had these for 2 years. Oh my god. So this is now number 2 as to why it's fake.
To begin with, the moon itself is simply a luminary, a non-physical light in the sky, and not a spherical terra firma planetoid as maintained by NASA and modern astronomy. On clear days, you can see for yourself, during a waxing or waning cycle, the blue sky through the moon. On clear nights, during a waxing or waning cycle, it is possible to see stars directly through the surface of the moon. And during each new moon, the moon completely disappears from view and remains invisible for that 1 day per month. Even members of the Royal Astronomical Society have time and again recorded their confusion at being able to see stars directly through the moon. For example, Sir James South of the Royal Observatory in Kensington wrote that, quote, "On my first looking into the telescope, a star of about the 7th magnitude was some minutes of a degree distant from the moon's dark limb. I saw that its occultation by the moon was inevitable, but the star, instead of disappearing the moment the moon's edge came in contact with it, apparently glided on the moon's dark face, as if it had been seen through a transparent moon, or as if a star were between me and the moon. I have seen a similar apparent projection several times. The cause of this phenomenon is involved in impenetrable mystery. A star occulting a crescent moon has long been a popular symbol of Islam, was the symbol of the Ottoman Empire, is found on the flags of Algeria, Azerbaijan, Libya, Malaysia, Mauritania, Pakistan, Singapore, Tunisia.
Okay, we're taking some real liberties
here. Arms of countries from Croatia to Germany, Ireland, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Sweden, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom. Nowadays, however, thanks to decades of NASA propaganda, people believe against the evidence of their own senses that the moon is...
All right, we're going to pause it on that lovely thumbnail there. Joel, are you still with us? Joel?
Uh-oh.
He might have stepped away.
We bored him to death.
We bored him to death. It's fun. You know, it's because it's a good little brief disclaimer. This is tired. This is done before. This is nothing new. This is nothing revolutionary.
Careful, you're becoming my least favorite co-host. We're becoming the thing that I hate.
This is nothing revolutionary to cover this kind of topic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
But this is a fun exercise in your ability to explain rather complex. I hate using the phenomenon because I don't want to be classified as a fucking scientist. Phenomenon.
What was the ancient word for phenomenon? Like mysteries?
Who ancient? Like who ancient?
I don't know.
Oh. So,
remember that episode in Stargate where the people live for like 5 days? They have a full life cycle. It's like ancient Greece, and it's like, oh, I don't. There's like a pregnant lady. Who's like, I don't know anything about the birthing mysteries.
So with this one, it just doesn't. It doesn't. The proofs are that there are these little lights or dots in line with the moon, which very well can just be, of course, we're seeing still images. These could be satellites. These could be any number of the thousands upon hundreds of thousands of debris or space objects that are orbiting around Earth right now. Could be any enumeration of them. And what's more is we just have still images. So it's rather convenient that we don't have the actual video of these things just looking.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I wouldn't put it past flat earthers because we have documentaries and stuff like that of them proving themselves wrong. I wouldn't put it past flat earthers to actually doctor footage to prove themselves right. But in this one, for just at face value, satellites, any number of debris that is out there in space between us and the moon, which is a lot.
Yeah, the firmament's pretty big.
The firmament is pretty big, but what was also claimed is that the moon is self-illuminary. I would like to hear a flat earthers, explanation of the retroreflectors that were able to put a laser on and get distance readings from the moon. I would love to hear them explain that, but it would likely be the explanation of this machine and in its entirety is a fabrication and it's a lie, it's fake, which would be pretty interesting. But I mean, we have instruments that are able to shine a laser on the landing sites of Apollo and show us the distance of the Earth to the moon. So we're able to do those things. It is a solid object. We're able to go there.
Two, basic physics proves that not only has man never flown to the moon, but that the entire concept of a vacuum of space is impossible. NASA and modern astronomy claim that the Earth's atmosphere spins perfectly along with the Earth up to an indeterminate height where it allegedly meets the vacuum of space. Anyone who has punctured an aerosol canister knows, however, that a positive pressure system adjacent to a negative pressure system must have a solid barrier separating them, or else they will equilibrate. Furthermore, at ground level, this spinning atmosphere supposedly travels around 1,000 miles per hour.
Pause. This is great. This screenshot,
by 250 miles.
Go back to that. I only hate two of the three, right? I only hate two of the
These
three.
guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Carl Sagan's great.
Yeah, he's okay.
Let's see where this goes, because it's already going really dumb.
By 250 miles high, where they claim the International Space Station orbits, the atmosphere and everything in it are allegedly traveling a ridiculous 17,500 miles per hour, the speed of a bullet. This means the astronauts in their rockets were traveling faster than a speeding bullet when finally they popped.
No. 17. Do you know of a round or loading that travels 17,500 miles per hour?
Not off the top of my head, but
Yeah. No. If we were to extrapolate that out, let's go and see how fast that would be. Let's see. 17,000 divided by 60. Oh, yeah. Just 4 miles a second. I don't know of any round that goes 4 miles a second.
what? How many meters is he saying? 100. Okay,
Well, he's saying miles per hour. So he says that he's equating the velocity of the ISS. Oh, he's saying the average bullet travels at 1,700 miles per hour. The ISS travels 10 times faster at 17,500 miles per hour. Yes, that's true. It is 10 times faster than a speeding bullet. It's just the actual words he said were different. Or at least I heard them different. Yeah, that's true. And do you know it requires a lot more energy? To get something to go that fast, like the ISS. Like we're talking orders and orders of magnitude more energy to get something. That's why the rocket was so big. That's why. Let's hear what else.
And everything in it are allegedly traveling a ridiculous 17,500 miles per hour, the speed of a bullet. This means the astronauts in their rockets were traveling faster than a speeding bullet when finally they popped out of the Earth's spinning, pressurized atmosphere and into the non-spinning, non-pressurized, non-atmosphere of the vacuum of space. Even if they could somehow survive such a transition, once in the supposed vacuum of space, it would be impossible to continue steering, because all propulsion systems require the air in the atmosphere to push against. In a vacuum, there is no such counterforce, so all propulsion, rather than sending the rocket forward, would instead...
Holy shit.
Oh no,
I actually never watched these videos, by the way.
that's
I
crazy.
only saw the playlist or the collection, and I just immediately saved each one. So this is a extremely archaic thought on how propulsion or anything works. This is akin to like the initial stages, like the 1950s, sort of like when we were initially getting into rocketry super heavily, right?
Mhm.
After World War II and during World War II. One of the German scientists who came over or whatever, or even earlier than that, like the 1800s, science fiction writers, even. This was thought about in the 1900s, like in the early 1900s and the late 1800s. They were ridiculed, and it was thought this person has the mentality of physics of that of somebody in the 1800s and 1900s, where you have to have something to push against. And by the way, the atmosphere, again, if you have the mentality that it's a firmament and that there's a dome and there has to be a firm barrier, the difference between atmosphere and no atmosphere, then of course you're going to think that this is confusing. Whereas in reality, we still feel the effects of the atmosphere, even at the ISS. The ISS has to do what's called boost burns, or it has to boost itself, because even though there's such very little atmosphere, there are still particles and stuff up there that is actually inducing drag on the ISS, thus slowing it down. And when you slow down, you slowly go out of orbit, so it has to constantly boost itself up back to velocity.
Yep.
So it's one, you couple a completely archaic view of how the atmosphere works and how thrust works, and then you get this viewpoint. And that's why we have things such as RCS systems and all these sorts of systems that are necessitated by traveling in space. My gosh, that's a ridiculous one.
3. The amount of radiation claimed to exist in space, especially through the so-called Van Allen belt, was far too strong for the astronauts' flimsy suits. Starting at an altitude of 1,000 miles up to approximately 15,000 miles, NASA claims there exists a deadly band of radiation that would kill or seriously injure anyone passing through in a matter of minutes. One Russian study stated that the amount of radiation present on the moon would require astronauts to be clothed in 4 feet of lead in order to avoid instant death. John Molden,
Did the Russians
NASA
go to the moon?
physicist, said they would need at least 2 meters of thick shielding around them at all times, yet we see them on film bouncing around the moon in their 2-inch thin suits. Even James Van Allen himself continued to state until his death in 2006 that there was no way humans could survive the 90-minute journey through and another 90-minute journey back through the radiation belt without being completely encased in thick lead shielding.
So, yeah, it was originally thought that the Van Allen belts were going to be a massive problem, but there was a thing that is called like dosage. Yeah, the astronauts were exposed to radiation. The issue comes from the idea that just like how we have nuclear reactors here on Earth, people who work in nuclear facilities have a dosimeter that they wear, where exposure, long-term exposure to radiation, is actually what kills you. The amount of radiation that would actually kill you instantaneously is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking like at the elephant's foot, where
Mhm.
you would die seconds later after exposure, which is actually significantly higher than the radiation present in the radiation belt.
Yeah.
So
Imagine you'd have to stick in the belt for like a day or
you
so.
would just have to be there. You would just have to be there. That's where your orbit is. Absolutely ridiculous.
You'd
I
have
shall save the rest for you. What was that? We landed on the
3. We're on 3.
We're on 3. Let me check. No, this was download 4. So we're on, yes, the 4th part. But we will continue that in a future episode. Isn't that fun?
That's hilarious. I love it.
It's just so fun to hear what they say and just be like, what's
I think
they broke
what
through
we
the
need to do.
glass dome.
Okay, you know what? The thing we need to do is we need to like hash out the difference. Like we're gonna have to do a comparison side by side of several flat Earth videos and several like people debunking it, because I want to show people the difference. I want to show people why I care about these people, even though they're wrong, versus these people who
That'll
are
be our
right.
next episode. You
Yeah,
can compile those episodes in a cut
Yeah,
sheet,
sure.
and then we'll go ahead and do that
And
as our next.
yeah, we'll have another Arfear soon.
Yes,
That's coming up.
we will go ahead and call it here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Welcome back, Nathan, and I look forward to talking to you again soon for our next episode.
The truth is out there.
All right, thank you all so much, and as always, have a good one.